Hi guys, this is FNGR, and today we address a serious topic between the zoophile police and one patchwork heart that they've decided to part ways with. There have been some accusations that perhaps weren't explained properly. We've went into their server after having a discussion with Patch. Patch does join at one part. It's a rather lengthy discussion. I'm going to chop this up into like 2 or 3 parts. It's messy. It's some people I deeply respect, or I'd like to, maybe not at their best. But that said, after talking to the zoophile police, they wanted to make it abundantly clear that they did not feel that Patchwok is a pedophile, that they did not feel that they abused children. That's the message that they stand with right now. If there was any misunderstanding, I'm hoping that someone from their Discord or Twitter could comment down below. Please follow their Twitter. Again, if you have any concerns about Patchwok Heart, I myself, as well as Leo Convoy, would be glad to vouch for them. And perhaps zoophile police's standards are a bit more stringent than myself or Leo's. And again, I don't feel that Patch has done anything wrong, or certainly anything that I would cast them from the herd, so to speak. I think they're a good friend, and I think that they're a credit to keeping, whether it be furry, brony, or otherwise, keeping kids and animals safe. That's just my opinion. Godspeed.
Well, I couldn't help but notice when we came in, you mentioned something about SJW. Was that about the admin who left?
Oh, no. Well, sort of. We were talking about, how the following went up in arms. Like, all of the followers kind of, and, were kind of fighting among each other when Shiloh became one of the admins. Because, when they came out, everyone was like, why do we have to have a trans person? And then people were like, trans rights. And then I was like, hey, trans rights. And then everyone was like, stop getting political. And then everyone was fighting.
Well, I actually had on the former guy and the anti-zoophile police, we actually suggested is like, just don't get involved in politics. You guys are doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing. Everybody loves you guys. Just defend kids, defend animals. And he's like, oh, and we go after people who do stuff to dead bodies. I was like, oh, I didn't know about that. Cool. We'll put that on the pile.
How many necros really are there? There can't be that many.
Yeah,
right?
I thought that too, but I assumed that you guys knew more than I did, so I wasn't going to argue about it. So here's my quick question: did you have any bad experiences with was it Shiloh?
Journalist.
Did we have? Okay, we didn't have any problems with Shiloh, like, per se. It was more like Shiloh versus the follows, So, the whole, massive blocking and, like, muting thing that Shiloh was doing, because we don't do that. If we disagree with someone, we just disagree and move on. So, I mean, that's the issue we ran into. And then, arguing with people. And then apparently Shiloh had made some posts. Now, I don't know too much about this part, but I do know, because Mona told me that Shiloh apparently made some posts about like furries and stuff like that, and it was basically just not what we really do. So in a way, furries. Yeah, apparently they said something around like, if you're a furry, then you're right next to zoophile, something like that. Which we don't have any problems with furries. If you're a furry, that's great.
Real quick. Patch is a furry.
Yeah, we're a bit confused by this.
I don't think Shiloh would say something like that. Now, I would like to go ahead and offer this. I saw what was posted by the Zoophile Police Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I was involved with that situation.
Right.
And while I don't think Shiloh made the correct decision there, I also don't see it the same as harassment. I see it as Shiloh seeing something and panicking. There was no harassment campaign. There was nothing of the sort. I was able to get that ironed out with both Patch and then later on that night with Suki, to where there should have been an understanding by the end of the night, like, all right, Patch, you went a little bit too far here. You're under a lot of stress right now. Just dial it back. I'll take care of this. But I believe what Zoophile Police is doing, making claims that are unsubstantiated and without any real evidence to an audience of 35,000 people, is immoral, and it is beyond the pale, and I do not care for such things.
Right, yes, and I do respect your opinion.
Now, I will ask you, I've been told that you guys at Zoophile Police, that there is a Fed within your ranks. Is that accurate?
A Fed, like a federal agent?
Yes.
Yes.
There's not much you can really disclose about that.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that too. It's just we've had it brought to our attention. Feel free to tell me if this is incorrect. If they weren't, isn't that kind of a crime if they were misrepresenting the fact that they were a Fed?
If they were misrepresenting the fact that they were, yes, that is a crime.
Okay, just asking.
I'm assuming it is, really.
It is. It's a federal crime. But has anybody verified that information?
I'm not entirely sure, as I haven't.
Okay.
Well, actually, you know what? I don't think I have seen a federal agent in our ranks.
Because again, the original person who ran this, I didn't have any kind of. When I really thought about that, I was like, well, the guy who used to be in charge wasn't any kind of cop. It's weird that they would reach out to, and I think it's really impressive. What is it, like 50,000 people followers on there? Yeah, that a federal agent would just reach out and decide to become of that just at random. I don't know. It's a little weird. Just a little. I'm not.
Yeah, it's a weird concept. I don't know anything about.
Yeah, I'm looking through the various scripts that we're in. No, we don't actually have a federal agent among us. We do have Little Nas.
Give me a second here.
That's it.
We were
He
led
doesn't
to
really
believe that the
respond.
person who was like in the head admin was the federal I can't say it right. The B.
Oh, Bolana?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh no, she's not Fed. No.
Oh, I'm really horrible with it, so I didn't want to butcher it. I just said
Oh,
something
no.
stupid like baloney.
No, she's not a federal agent.
No one in charge here is a federal agent.
Yeah. In looking through the chat, we have Pepsi, corn nuts, and that's it. Yeah. We don't have any federal agents or anything like that. I don't even know what's the rumor going around.
I was I was hoping because one of the posts in there it seems a little misleading. It implies, I know they cleared up in the very next posts because it says we don't feel that they're a pedophile, but there's that one post where if someone just stopped reading there, that could look really poorly on Patch. And I understand that they have their own baggage, but maybe
Oh
that could
yeah,
have been.
no. We made it like really clear. Like that's the one thing we tried to make very clear, that Patch is not a pedophile and did not have any, sexual involvements with any minors, at least none that we could find. So we like completely believe, that Patch is not a pedophile. However,
Would you be fine with that being made as a public
I'm sorry?
statement? Would you be fine if I were to record that just to make absolutely positive that
See what I mean?
I just want to make sure that no one's calling Patch a pedophile?
Hey!
What? Okay. It's just that's it.
You got your journalist voice on.
No,
Look,
you have to forgive Anthony. He's like me. He's old, and sometimes the blood pressure gets going. It's okay.
if you had a friend that you were concerned about being called the wrong thing, you'd probably.
Oh, I've been in this situation before. I've had to defend people. Like, I understand.
Okay.
It just was a bit of a journalistic tone. That always sounds strange when you're talking about large Twitter accounts.
yeah.
You
Okay.
guys do wield a lot of juice.
Of course.
Yeah.
But more importantly, would you guys be willing to, like, say, with myself and FNG are here, Wendigo, you, Quinn, Bologna, would you guys be willing to have a discussion about this to try to figure out the ins and outs, what exactly happened here?
We're doing our own investigation of everything that's happened now, and we're trying to find the story. But as of right now, because of the claims that have been made, we can't take any risks. And it's not like it's not like we're just jumping directly into this. We really are being careful. And for the record, yes, no, I don't mind if you record me saying this. I 100% do not believe that Patches is a pedophile, and nobody on our team believes that. Like, actually, it says, and I can read it out for you right here in just a moment.
Okay. On top of that, the statement that I received from one of the admins was this: "Thank you, we appreciate you for your help in improving everyone's experience on Twitter. Your report within the past hours will help make this a safer place." the mere fact that they got reported, that doesn't really show much. And from what I understand, Zoophile Police was on like a Twitter timeout for a week ago. That happens all the time.
This place, this Zoophile Police gets reported all the time. But you did say, like, wielding a lot of power. Well, that also requires, like she said, internal investigation when it comes to, like, figuring out, because the people on the server generally are going to know each other better than, the Twitter followers and the admins themselves. Like, so that's, like, the types of investigation rather than, like, just putting it all public instantly and being like, okay, I'll tell you this thing that I know. Here's a thing that I don't know. Here's a thing I can say that I don't believe that I know because, and it just gets complicated and very, I don't know, Las Vegas spaghetti bowl sort of situation.
Oh, my friend Bernie Inspector would have loved that analogy. Can I call you Stone?
Real quick.
Ramona, please.
Ramona. Okay, good. Glad I asked. As far as that goes, geez, I just lost my thought there. If you're implying that they're still getting their ducks in a row there, right, Ramona?
Attempting to, yeah.
Well, I understand that, but wouldn't it have been perhaps...
Changing of the guards is really difficult, and that's the problem, is when you have a change in administration, and then you're trying to pump out information really quickly, and then you risk disinformation or leading people the wrong direction, it creates a massive amount of collective anxiety.
Yeah, and again, Patch has quite a great deal about that right now.
That's what we're trying to clean up, like trying to make sure that no one's smeared for no reason.
Wouldn't it have been, and I know hindsight's a bitch, but wouldn't it have been better if maybe they would have said, hey, look, we'd like to get to the bottom of this. You're not in any immediate trouble. We're going to give you a little time out here so we can get this all cleaned out, as opposed to kicking them to the curb and publicly kicking them to the curb. That might have been a little
the fight,
premature.
Though there was like there's a lot of backlash that made it, like, a lot of anger that made it a little bit more difficult to keep a covert sort of, hey, you need to chill out for a second, because it's like, you tell me to chill out, that sort of thing turns into a big boiling cauldron.
Okay. Who dipped?
Quint.
Okay. No, that's thanks for helping.
I understand the psychosis of just, like, changing of the guards, and then suddenly, like, even that tweet right there bothers me. Due to these discoveries, like, these discoveries never sounds good on Twitter. That never sounds good. That might as well be calling, like, Shiloh a fucking, like, serial killer. Like, these discoveries is never a good thing. I mean, anything from the N-word to genocide. Like, it's...
And here's the whole thing about that. I understand myself. I've said a whole bunch of inappropriate PC things. I know my ass would have been kicked out a long time ago. And God be willing, that's fine. But, maybe there's some things that can't be conveyed properly in text. Is it possible if I could suggest that maybe the Zoophile Police, I don't know if are you an admin or are you close to the admins? Ramona?
I know a few of them. I'm not
okay.
in any
the suggestion the suggestion I would have probably have made to somebody who was in charge would have been like maybe someone doing maybe a quick video as opposed to text.
See, that was okay. Now, before you guys joined, when it was just me and her talking, there was somebody else joined, and it was this I don't know, call him a boy, I guess, considering the server I'm in. Like, he's an 18-year-old who basically was like just full of just piss and vinegar, just angry, and he was like, demanding like some sort of interview thing, and like was really like just being obnoxious about it, and was just saying, "I'm sorry, I'm in a bad mood. I need to get some sleep," and just being very, like. It
wasn't Lieutenant Cobra, was it?
No, I don't know. It was somebody named somebody.
You have to edit that out.
I had a name. I don't know. But Ray. I kept calling them Ray Liotta because that was my.
It's not
mnemonic.
Ryland, is it?
Riley, maybe I don't know.
Okay.
But like it was REIL, some shit, and like the whole idea was like, yeah, it was just like I want an interview and I want it bad, like sort of desperate journalistic sort of, I don't know, everyone thinks they're Hunter S. Thompson sort of syndrome. And that was like, we're trying to like explain things to them while also trying to correct the Twitter account, and it's just a little bit of a fucking mess.
Well,
And so I've been like offering some suggestions for a bit about how to not turn this place into a psychosis hellhole where we just throw people into the flames with no trial or anything, you know.
Leo, you wanted to say something, or Sheldon?
And
Okay.
Quinn's going to be back soon, by the way. Just
Okay.
letting you know.
Yeah, whatever.
Is this like? I hope this is a podcast.
I am
this is
recording.
like-
Yes, I've popped in.
No, but I mean, I hope this is like this should be like put on like podcast servers.
Yeah, it's gonna get like 1 million views. So.
It'll get like
I could get a K. I am gonna get a
Yeah,
K
yeah.
out of this. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna be rich.
Here's what I'm looking at here. All right. Let's see here. Just want to make sure I get my ducks in a row on this. In the tweet, is claiming Shiloh's an abuser, and that Shiloh participates in blackmail, the latter of which is a legal claim. And while I'm glad they made the stipulation, not a pedophile, that still isn't good, especially when no evidence is provided. And for context here on this guy Lucifer's tweet, I want to bring up something here. Let me go ahead and copy that. I'm going to post it in the chat because I can't really post it anywhere else. For context, when you read this series of DMs, I'm the Lio that's being discussed. And I did talk to Patch about all this. And here's where the issue becomes a little bit more bizarre here. There are apparently a couple people within the has-been community that have apparently had it in for Shiloh since Shiloh exposed Sly Fox. And Shiloh is definitely of the opinion that that's one of the people behind some of this. I don't have any evidence for that. I don't think I could unless I were to get in people's DMs, which I'm not going to ask to do. But I will say
that would be a disaster.
Yeah, this thread.
Bro, when you say Shiloh, I was thinking about the dude that used to sing in the background of X songs.
X is a pedophile too. Hell.
Moving
I don't
on.
want to.
When was this?
Moving on.
Hi, real quick, could I say something?
By all means.
Okay, to the earlier comment about things, occurring in hindsight, please view this action as, how if a famous, star gets accused of abusing someone or something like that, or like some form of negative thing, wouldn't it be in the larger entity, such as the sponsor's best interest to drop any possible, thing and any possible persons that could mess up their namesake, because Zoophile Police does have a rather large reputation that we have to maintain, or else we become just another joke.
I see what you're getting at, but there's a bit of a difference between what happens there and what happens here. Firstly, in those situations, it's usually really monstrous things. And usually there's more than just, we're going to put this up and not offer any actual evidence to back it.
There needs to be a level of due process before
Correct.
anybody is completely like melted to hell.
Well, and
that's
exactly.
just
And
makes
at
it.
the-
I mean, like,
At the moment, everything is alleged. Everything is alleged. We're still doing our own investigation. We're still waiting. I think we're still waiting for comment from Shiloh. I believe so.
Shiloh doesn't. Shiloh's kind of broken about all this.
Wait, what's happening?
I've reached out to your head admin and said that they would be glad to hand off their Twitter for you guys to look through.
Wait,
Right,
What's happening?
Well, I mean, we're still investigating this whole thing, as I said before, and I didn't really get to read out that comment. It says here in our chat, whereas
What in the world?
Bell is investigating the person that was called a pedophile, the person that called Patch a pedophile. There's no evidence there other than someone who didn't like her words that she was saying in that certain situation. We investigated all of the direct messages, and there was no proof. So, we're clearing her name on that. That's why we never claimed that she was at all.
Remember we talked before about the Hydra aspect. The issue in an early birth of a Hydra is you end up with a lot of moving parts that you don't really know you don't have proprioception yet. You don't really know your sense of the room. And so a lot of times, like, really awful shit happens, like, instant mudslinging, and not just mudslinging. I mean, like, complete slander that could destroy people's, like, lives.
I wanted to respond to something there because you said, well, we have to consider our public image, and I absolutely agree with that. But they kind of jumped on. I mean, if you guys were a major company, they would have said, due to unforeseen circumstances, we've decided to part ways. Zoophile Police went a step further in their public answer here. There's a bit of one might argue negligence. One might. I'm not a legal expert.
There's also the fact that, again, a legal claim was made.
A legal claim?
Right, blackmail. I mean, this is blackmail on the level of an old man telling kids not to do something or else they're going to tell their parents, right? I mean, this is hardly meeting a legal threshold of blackmail. I'm not sure where this is coming from.
Correct. But go ahead.
We didn't mean blackmail as in, like, we're pressing like or anything.
No, but
that's the problem. It's like calling someone a scumbag. Like, that's
what you're really doing is you're.
Well, no, scumbag isn't a legal definition. Blackmail is.
Well,
There's a big
no,
difference.
it doesn't matter.
Scumbag
Let's forget about legality.
Really?
You can call someone a scumball, but you can't call them a scumbag. That is actually legally considered liable. So it's about being precise with language. Using the term blackmail loosely is like something that some people aren't aware.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Aren't aware that that's dangerous.
Look, we can throw away any legal claim. It doesn't matter. Really, if we get down to it fundamentally, it's that the mods here have a problem with Patchwok using a threat like I'm going to talk to your parents if you don't do X, Y, Z, a minor. That's the contention, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you're worried this will damage your reputation.
So I have a question though. Is it Quinn Toki? Is that how I pronounce it?
Yes, Quinn Toki.
Quinn Toki. Okay. So if you came across a child that was doing something inappropriate, you guys would be against contacting their parents?
Right.
No.
Yes or no? I'm confused.
No.
So they wouldn't do that.
No.
Well, the contact of parents in those cases is extremely important. I don't have all of Patch's psychic info in my head or what was said, so I can't verify here.
I'm asking. I'm asking.
Holy crap!
Yeah, I'm asking the Zoophile Police. Like, say for instance, I don't know, some kid was in danger, for example. Would the
yeah, of course.
Okay. Again. Well, at what point? I just would like to know, like, the threshold. So, kid drawing porn isn't something that the Zoophile Police would like to make that quite clear. We're not interested in policing this at all, correct?
I'm not really interested in minors drawing minors. It's not really an area that, like, but once it starts getting into territory where it's like becoming a beehive for pedos to just like orbit around that sort of thing. Then it's just like, okay, we might have to like tell your parents or something that because you're like gonna get like in trouble with some horrible people.
No,
hold on.
Now that would be something that I would agree with.
I'll let you go in a second.
I don't speak for everybody.
Yeah, no, I got that too, but I was asking Quinn Toki because you said that they're specifically on staff. was Patch made aware of Zoophile Police's stance on this, or is it just, you guys are still finding out? It seems to punish them for something they wouldn't be aware of if you guys didn't have it set in stone.
Well, we did contact Patch. We hadn't gotten a reply yet.
So you definitely need to talk to him.
Well, he's saying before this punishment was enacted.
Yeah, we did. And we hadn't gotten a reply.
And you didn't get a response. Okay.
If you want, we can bring Patch in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be pretty
actually,
good.
I wouldn't mind talking to Patch.
Hold on.
Yeah, we can do that.
Wait, before somebody being something here, that what happened? Somebody blackmailed somebody?
No, nobody got blackmailed. That's kind
I
of
thought,
funny.
I thought forbid. Like when I first joined, I thought somebody died.
No, but hold on.
Bro.
Hold on. I need to address some things here. All right. Okay. So when it comes to, Zoophile Police, you say that, well, you don't like the fact that Patch told this kid that they were going to tell their mom, but at the same time, you also say that that's the proper thing to do when a kid's doing something dangerous. It kind of seems like incongruent value